Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
All right, some of you asked me to give you my thoughts about the Tucker Carlson and Putin interview. Okay, so what I did is I listened to 2 hours of the actual interview. I listened to it properly. I even took down notes, okay? And I summarized them into 20 key points of what Putin said. I'll tell you, it's quite a mind-boggling interview. Huh? Tucker Carlson really, seriously deserves praise for what he has done. So I'll give you my thoughts about the interview. Feel free to let me know your thoughts, whether you agree, disagree. And in case I've made a mistake anywhere, just feel free to correct me. Tell me what point it is. Okay, so these are the 20 points. The first one is Putin gave an incredible history lesson to Tucker Carlson. He went, I think he went from 600, you know, like this year is 2024. He went to the year 600 or 900. I mean, from there he gave a summary of the entire history of Russia, Ukraine, and oh, yeah, I was like, bloody hell, this guy really... Putin is a very intelligent human being. Huh? He's well-read, well-researched, and he knows what he's talking. Oh, there you go. Big doggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one was that, and that clearly showed he knew what he is talking about. Now, how far he's right, or how far did he cherry-pick which parts of history, that I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. If Putin was wrong anywhere, or he fabricated any part of history, I'm very sure all the news outlets would have crucified, named and shamed and mocked Putin. So he gave an incredible history. So it clearly shows he knows what he's talking, and he gave reasons why Russia is doing what it's doing. Okay, from a historical perspective also. Second one is NATO, under US instructions, has expanded 5 times, violating the agreement that they had with Russia. 5 times. And all the 5 times, it seems Russia kept quiet. So, you know, you make a deal, you sign the deal, and then when you have a change of president or the next one, they say, we don't recognize this, we don't recognize that. No, we need to renegotiate a deal, or we need to change a deal. That's really stupid, and that's very common with USA. They, whenever they want, they'll change the deal. Whenever they want, they'll say, no, this is not a fair deal. No, the previous administration didn't. Like Trump did the same thing. Huh? He said, no, they signed a bad deal or wrong deal. We will change it. So every president that comes, every term, he can say whatever he wants and nullify or invalidate the previous agreement. But when you have someone like Putin, who has been in power for so long, seeing so many presidents come and go, you can't have one deal with them today and after 4 years say, no, that deal you signed, it's not valid. So that was stupid. And Putin was right. 5 times NATO expanded. Russia kept quiet, and this time they're not going to keep quiet. Point number 3 is the neo-Nazi leader. Neo-Nazi affiliations. And in Ukraine, there are quite a number of, Nazi descendants or Nazi followers. And he stated how serious that issue is. And, if you go through history, even if you do not know much, you would know that, Hitler, Germany under Hitler and Russia, a lot of ups and downs and, the wars and all that. So there is a long history. But where he gave a checkmate was when they invited Zelensky, who's a Jew, to the Canadian Parliament. And they bought this guy, Yaroslav Hunka. Yaroslav Hunka, a 96-year-old or something, veteran from the Nazi party, to give a speech. I mean, how stupid can you get? They didn't even do their homework. It seems they didn't do their homework to know that he's a Nazi party, he was part of them. And they gave him a standing ovation twice. Just imagine the comedy. The House, Speaker of the House resigned after that. So you see, they invited a Nazi supporter and they gave him a standing ovation. And then they tried to put it under the rug after the red-faced embarrassment. So he bought that out. And it's a fact, huh? There are many people who support the Nazi belief system nowadays in the West. There's a growing support for that. So he said, we are not going to allow that. Then number 4, brilliant. This one was nice. He said, every president of US, he didn't say puppet, but he kind of said that, behind closed doors. And he said, I've had presidents come here, and he spoke about Bill Clinton and George Bush and all that. He said behind closed doors, he gave instances where they'll talk casually and they will talk openly and say, yeah, we can do this, we can't do this, we'll try to do this. But then in the end, they just go back on their word. And he kind of hinted at the presidents being controlled by the elitists, or the people, people who bring these guys into power. And if you can watch this video, just watch Ronald Reagan, who was an actor, was an actor before in his career. He became a very charismatic president. But he actually was given scripts to read, and he was more like a spokesperson. So they would control him like a puppet. And there is one speech which he gives standing there. And imagine, he's the president of USA, and you have a guy standing next to him and instructing him what to say. I wish I knew where this video was. I saw it when I was young. So this was another one. So what he was trying to say here is the US presidents, they're mostly puppets. They will just do whatever the elitists want, or obviously the people who put them there. Then number 5 is, he also mentioned where they had a conversation, Vladimir Putin had a conversation with the president, where he asked, I think it was President Clinton, behind closed doors, whether he could join, whether Russia could join NATO. And at first he didn't say no, but then later on there is an agency or something that intermediaries between both. USA has an agency, Russia has an agency. So it seems after in the afternoon, or when they went there to discuss behind closed doors, they said, yeah, we'll look into it. Evening, when they're having dinner or something, then he said, no, we can't do that. So he was like, and then Tucker Carlson asked him, so you will join NATO? He put it this way, that we would at least start initiating the process and discuss the pros and cons, and not just join, but obviously evaluate. Then point number 6 is, he said, will Russia stop the war and all that? He put it very simple, stop supplying the weapons. You stop supplying the weapons, we will stop the war. But over here, my only thought process was, if you stop supplying the weapons, then you have the upper hand. But then again, he is also right. You keep pumping weapons there, we're not going to keep quiet here. Number 7, he clearly stated that US controls the media, not only in USA, but in most of the European or Western countries. US controls the media, US controls the narrative, US controls the propaganda. So no matter what Russia releases in terms of secrets, US can control and choose what to share, not to share, what to, claim as fake news, false news. So that was also very smart. Number 8 is US interferes in elections of other countries. And he gave the example of how in Ukraine or in the Far East bloc, whenever there was a guy who didn't support US, they immediately asked for a re-election, or that guy was no longer in power. And we have seen this in the Middle East. We have seen this across the world. US appoints a pro-US candidate. We have seen this even in Venezuela. So US can interfere in elections of other countries. And then they say, oh, Russia's meddling with the election of our country. So the double standards. And by the way, do you know this? That in Olympics, all other flags of every country, when they pass by the main stage, they bow down, in the march past. Only USA does not. Because USA claims that they are the leader, so they should not. Funny, right? See the double standards. All other countries in the world, their flag goes out of respect for the host country, except USA. So what makes them so superior? What? The weapons? What leader are you? I'll come to that, where he also mentioned them being a bully. So US interferes in other countries' elections. Number 9 is, this was a mic drop moment. It was a checkmate. When he said, why the hell is USA interfering in a war in Ukraine? Okay, you'll say, for world peace and all that. Yeah, when you are in $35 trillion, $33 trillion in debt, that is number 1. When your border issues are not sorted out, when you have illegal immigration coming in, when you have all these problems, instead of focusing on solving your problem and reducing your debt, you are busy using that money elsewhere. It makes a lot of sense, right? Instead of using the money to solve your problems, you're using the money. And he also brought out that they keep printing currency and dollar. They keep printing. And then he said, he also said very brilliantly, yeah, you can keep printing, but it'll keep going to everyone's hands. It's not going to stay in one place. That was brilliant. Number 10 is he spoke of US employing mercenaries, and they are not sending their war people there, okay, because then it'll escalate to very serious proportions. They're sending mercenaries, and this is very common. They employ ex-military and all that, and these people, for cash, they're ready to kill. So he highlighted this, and it seems Poland is also involved in that. Number 11, he spoke on the Nord Stream pipeline. When asked, he said who damaged or destroyed or whatever. He didn't say directly USA, but he said someone who has the capability of diving down all the way down. See, intention everyone has, or anyone can have, but capacity, who has that? So he said, number 1 is who has the ability to do it, and second one, who will benefit from it. Very smartly put. And then when you're speaking about the CIA and they're involved in all this, which we have seen in many Hollywood movies or documentaries, if not movie, documentaries, where the CIA gets involved in all this shit and they interfere. And then obviously if they release, he asked him, why don't you release the secret files to prove? And that is where he spoke about US controlling the media. Number 12, he spoke about how US tries to weaponize the dollar and is trying its level best to stay relevant. But he said it's not working out. And then he spoke about the bullying, and then he spoke about them trying to twist other countries' arms and trying to stay in power. The point number 13 is the bullying part. US tries to keep bringing new laws, changing agreements. making, so yeah, you know, more like fake friendships, because all they are interested in is to ensure they stay in power. Oh, now they are building a new, they have dug up here, they'll build a house there. So much for untouched area. Going to be like another hill road. Interesting. There was nothing here before. Must be spending a fortune to build it there. Anyway. So US is a bully. Number 14 is, this was really sensible. He said, US wants to remain as the dominant force. So it's doing hook or by crook, weaponizing the dollar or replacing, heads of state with their own puppets. But he said you cannot stop change. He gave the example of BRICS. Even acknowledged India and China as being a superpower. He said you can't stop it. He even gave the example of Indonesia, them wanting to join BRICS and the changes in the landscape, and also how people are ditching the dollar to trade in other currencies and all that. So that was brilliant, seriously brilliant. So number 14, he said you can't stop change. Number 15, he said the UN is illegitimate, it's useless, and it's pointless. And we have seen that with the Israel-Palestinian war. What is US doing? Yeah, what is UN doing? Meetings after meetings after meetings, and discussions and votings, and US can easily veto. Even you can have a intense meeting, all the countries can agree, but if US vetoes, finish. It's a waste, total fucking waste. UN is a waste. And then he also mentioned about the 5 permanent members: China, France, US, UK and Russia. And he stated the only reason we're not leaving it because we're in a position of power. And he also gave example where US wanted Russia out. Number 16 is he praised Trump, which I was expecting, but I was shocked and surprised that he praised George Bush. I never thought he would praise George Bush. I mean, that was like, and he said he looks like a country boy, he looks dumb, or didn't use dumb. He said, but he's very smart, he's very intelligent. I was surprised because I used to always think George Bush is dumb. Because of, you can check these videos of George Bush gaffes and while making speeches. But he said he's very intelligent and articulate. Even though they didn't agree on a lot of things, he gave him kudos, which I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay. Number 17, he spoke about Elon Musk. And he also, he was laughing and he's saying, see, he's already started human trials. And he said that, they should team up with him, and he's the type of guy, if he doesn't like you, he's not going to work with you. So it should be a mutual benefit. Very nice, nicely put. And then number 18, this was where Tucker Carlson tried to push his agenda to look like a superhero so that he could be praised by the media. He asked about the Wall Street journalist Ivan Gershkovich, who's currently jailed in Russia for espionage and selling secrets and all that. So he said he is a journalist, yeah, but he's also, intelligence, undercover. And he said, he also mentioned, this is towards the end, he said, see, we have done a lot of acts of generosity and being understanding and a lot of leeway to bring peace. But you guys, like he didn't say you guys, he said, how much more can we keep giving? So where they are portraying this guy as a journalist, it's not actually jailing a journalist. It's a secret spy. So then number 19, he highlighted it. See, they try to destroy Russia by weaponizing the dollar. And he also mentioned that Russia is the country with the highest number of sanctions, highest. But he said, guess what? We have stayed strong, we have improved, we have actually gotten better. And now US and other countries have gotten worse, which was also very true. It was like unbelievable, man. And number 20, the final point is, he said that Russia doesn't want war. Okay, Russia doesn't want war. And apart from that, you know, he said that stop supplying weapons. He also showed, he gave him various documents, and he said we already had prepared a list of terms and conditions for peace. He said, but they didn't want anything got to do with it. In fact, US doesn't want to discuss. Zelensky and Ukraine doesn't want to discuss. So it's more like, if you're not ready to discuss or sit at the negotiation table, how do we have peace? Which was a valid point. I mean, and when he asked him, why don't you go to Biden and USA and negotiate? He said, what, you want us to go and please, 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 oh, you're supplying weapons, stop, stop, stop. We start begging. He said, no, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, he stood his ground, you know. See, one thing also, he didn't mention anything about Israel and Palestine and the double standards there. Very smart, very intelligent. He didn't take that route at all. So, he plays his cards right. Overall, what I felt about the interview was very well done, brilliant. This Tucker Carlson, he pulled out a magic rabbit. He pulled out the best trick up his sleeve, and wow, he did it very well. I'll tell you, maybe he deserves an award for this, but they'll not give him. That's pretty obvious. So I found the interview, like, what all we all knew about, and we were discussing, Vladimir Putin, he put it all together in this 2-hour talk. I'm sure it could have gone longer, but it was unbelievable. And I'll tell you, for 2 hours, for Vladimir Putin to state without faltering, without making mistakes, without saying anything out of place, that clearly shows he's an incredible communicator, amazing leader, and something that United States absolutely lacks. Can you imagine Joe Biden having an interview like this? In fact, can you imagine they allowing a Russian journalist to take the interview of the US president uncensored? No. America only wants a reporter that will uplift you. And one other thing, Vladimir Putin said, is this a talk show or is this an interview? And so many times Tucker Carlson was laughing. So overall, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I felt it was a very well articulated, well done interview, and I highly recommend, if you want to watch it, watch it. Otherwise, here is a summary. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think? Did you watch the interview? And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You guys take care. This is me signing off. Ciao.